What's going on, guys? Your boy Joey672 coming to you guys with a live stream right now. I'm with my boy Philly Jim for the second time this week, which is awesome. And then we're back. Probably going to talk about some other things as well. So, Philly Jim, what is going on tonight?
Not much, man. I'm glad to be back on the channel. It's only been, it seemed like it was months before we did any streams, and now, it's been like the second time in 3 days. We just were on here on Sunday night, and we're here on a Tuesday night coming at you guys, and it's gonna be good. So, ready to get into some good stuff tonight.
Yeah, so let's get into some good stuff. If you guys have not, I'm just going to lay it out there. We're going to be having a free agency stream next Wednesday, the 18th. I mean, obviously, the tampering period's on the 16th, so I'll probably do a live stream if anything is even heard of, any rumors that most likely we're going to hear something of the Eagles, who they're going after and what's going on. But the 18th of March, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, a live stream will be hosted that day. Probably going to run it through 4 o'clock, through 4:30, probably till about 5 o'clock. Not going to go crazy, but you guys could come on to that and just have us. We'll be hanging out and just pretty much just be going through everything, and then we'll just be sitting here just waiting for the news to come through and what's going on, of any signings of what's going to happen. So if you guys haven't, subscribe to Philly Jim's YouTube channel if you guys have not, and Twitter, both down here if you guys see. And that's it. So Philly Jim, you could go right ahead.
Well, we had some news today. Also, Joey, appreciate the shout out. Also, forgot to mention, please subscribe up to the React Show, because we're gonna be on there. We're doing streams on each other's channels like we did back during the season, but we're also gonna be trying to put a lot of stuff on there, so we can build a following there. So please subscribe to that. But there's some stuff to get into, and the first thing I'll start with is a compensatory pick thing. The news broke today. It was announced what compensatory picks the teams are going to have for other free agents from last year going to other teams. The Eagles have 3 of those, so the Eagles in all are going to have 10 draft picks. So there's an opportunity to add some good young players to the team, or it's either way, it's an opportunity, whether you draft them, whether you keep all 10 of the picks, or you package picks up and try to get an upper echelon talent in the draft, most likely a wide receiver in the top 10. So I think we got some fun things coming with this front office. So I'm just gonna sit back for now and see what happens with that.
Yeah, no, I think Howie Roseman was I think it was at the combine. I think Pro Football Talk was talking, and they had an interview with him, and he was really happy to have 10 picks this year. He's actually really stoked, because most years we don't have this much. I don't know if we're the highest team. We might have the highest team with the most picks in the draft this year. I'm not really sure on that, but the third round, and we have a third round pick, and then we have 2 fourth-round picks right next to each other, 145, 146. So that's pretty much a late fourth-round pick.
Right.
It's really we're going to see if Howie can hold on to these 10 picks till the NFL draft, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I definitely could, just like I said during last stream, I definitely could see Howie Roseman trying to make a trade there. But I could also see him doing something with the draft. I mean, when you talk about third-round picks, fourth-round picks, those are actually really valuable when you're making a deal. You saw it with the A.J. Boye trade, the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
They traded a fourth, and they got him, and he's a solid starting player. So you can get a starter on your team for that, other teams also value third-round picks. You're probably not going to get very much for a fifth or a sixth. Most times, sometimes you will, but most of the time not. But if you got a third, you got an extra third. It gives the Eagles an opportunity to have some flexibility in the draft, and they can move up for whoever they want. So I definitely think there's endless possibilities there.
Yeah, I think there is. I mean, depends what they're doing. If I think it's going to really tell a lot if we actually see how he spend a lot of picks. I mean, at least spend at least a few picks. There could be a big chance that the Eagles don't move up in this draft. There could be like another type of combination that they do in the draft. They could move back. They could stay put at 21. So we're just gonna have to see by free agency how much they're doing. Now it's not just the first day, but at least the first 2 to 3 weeks to see what they're what they have up their sleeve and what they're doing. So that's where it's really gonna matter the most.
Yeah, I mean, it really just when it comes to the draft, it really just depends on how the early stages of the draft play out. Are teams going to reach for a quarterback? Is there going to be some pick where a team takes a quarterback and you're like, you could have waited. You could have got so and so. In the top 15. Stuff like that. When I'm thinking about that, there's a lot. I mentioned this in the last draft. I mean, in the last stream. There are a lot of rumors that Tua Tagovailoa, the Lions have interest in him, so they could pass on Okuda. And if Okuda slides, then it's gonna kind of mess everything up because the team is gonna get Okuda at the fifth pick or the sixth or seventh, and then that means Judy and Lamb might be slipping out of the top 10, and if that happens, I think that's where Howie Roseman is going to say, all right, we got 2/3, we got 2/4, we got a first, we got a second, we got plenty of picks. I'm not saying we should trade all of our picks, but we can trade some of these picks and we'll be fine. We'll be totally fine, especially if you're getting an upper echelon player, especially if they slip. Like, you're probably thinking that you do need to get to the top 10 to get CeeDee Lamb, but if it plays out like I'm saying, like let's say the Chargers have a 6th pick in the draft, Phil Rivers is gone. Are they gonna reach for Jordan Love from I think it's Utah State, the quarterback? And I think most people wouldn't take him in the top 10. You also have Herbert. So if Herbert, Love, Tua, and Burrow, if all 4 of them go in the top 10, someone's going to slip. And someone really good is going to slip. It's not just, players are slipping by default. It's just the way it happens in the draft. So there's going to be opportunities, and if one of those guys does slip out of the top 10, you got ammunition, and you can go do what you want to get the guy that you want to get.
Yeah, no, it all depends on like if this trade or whatever they're going to do is either going to wait until draft night or they're going to wait till the night before, the day before or weeks before and try to get something done beforehand. Um, but yeah, I mean, the question is what teams are going after quarterbacks. Could the Lions be going after a quarterback between the stuff with Matt Stafford going on? Could the Buccaneers actually be moving on from Jameis Winston this year? They got some clause in this contract that they're doing something this year. So will they try to move up and try to use some draft capital? The Redskins might be picking a quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks right now or that are in spots right now that they feel like they need to upgrade this year. So even the Tennessee Titans, I know Ryan Tannehill had a great season. Only cost him $1.5 million just to have him on the roster compared to when he had to get paid 19 in Miami. But when Tom Brady, there was rumors about Tom Brady going to the Raiders, going to the Titans. I mean, all this type of stuff going on. I think someone's going to try to snag Brady before anything does happen. So we'll have to see. We'll just have to see by then just what happens. I mean, it's just a big lottery. You know what I mean? You never know what's going to happen, and anybody can move up, and anything can happen. So you never know.
Right. So we're going to kind of transition now. We're going to talk about free agency a little bit, and we're going to actually, instead of talking about free agents on other teams, let's talk about some of the Eagles free agents. You got Jordan Howard. Big D is a free agent. Rodney McLeod is a free agent. Timmy Jernigan is a free agent. We got some guys that are free agents, and would you consider bringing any of them back is the question. And I really want to hear what you guys have to say about that. So let us know if you think there's anyone you think the Eagles should consider bringing back. I don't think there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be brought back, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if one or two guys was back, just if they can get a reasonable deal for them. And one of the guys is Timmy Jernigan. I have been a big Timmy Jernigan fan since he came over in the trade. Really made a big impact first year, but had injuries the last 2 years. But God willing, Malik Jackson stays healthy. If Jernigan's your third defensive tackle, you're going to be in a pretty good spot there. But the Eagles may also just, sign someone else for that third spot. So I think Jernigan is someone they're going to consider. And I think McLeod is someone they're also going to consider. It's like we don't know that the Jenkins situation is going to work out. Are the Eagles going to take McKinney with the 21st pick? And you're going to want to have at least another guy that has some experience and knows the system. And Jim Schwartz really likes McLeod. So he's going to want to keep him around for just another year until they, figure out what they're going to do with both the safety spots. I think it's something to consider. Howard, I don't know. I don't think he's going to come back. He made a big impact early in the season, had his injury. Then he really wasn't used. He really wasn't used after that due to how well Miles Sanders had emerged. So I really don't think they're gonna, I think they're gonna want Miles Sanders to get as many touches as he can get, so he can really show what he can do, which is be a number one running back. So I also don't think Howard is just gonna, take any kind of deal. I think another team will probably give him more than we're willing to. I don't think the Eagles are going to put that much money into the running back position. They may sign another veteran to be like the third running back and then go from there.
Yeah, no, I think with the whole running back situation, there was some, I think Mike Garofalo was on NFL Network talking about that, like there might be a reunion with, LaShawn McCoy coming back to the Eagles, or, he could be pretty much be going to the Chargers or whatnot, or they could try to get Jordan Howard back depending on the deal that he does want. And this is a deal that's, apparently from rumor that that stinger injury that he did have is going to affect his market a little bit just because of the injury, but it might create a perfect storm to where this might actually be good for the Eagles to re-sign Jordan Howard. So I mean, you never really know what could happen. I know Jordan Howard loves it in Philly. I mean, him and Miles Sanders were a great 1-2 punch in the backfield. Done a really good job. You know what I mean? Or the third option to this whole thing is they just, they let these other guys compete for the third running back spot. It would be nice to have a bruiser. I know Elijah Holyfield's in the building now. We all know that. But we don't know what's going to happen with him. And Corey Clement, hasn't been healthy since his rookie year. So, I mean, there are plenty of options right now. So the Eagles don't have to spend crazy money. But this could be. I want to see if Jordan Howard actually gets signed. If he actually does get signed by free agency, or if there's a deal that's already looming before that, whether it's with us or with another team, just see what happens. And as for the safety position, like I said on the last stream, I'm going to keep my optimism with Malcolm Jenkins. I think something is trying to get worked out. I think if you bring Malcolm back, it's, I would like him to retire an Eagle and stay here the rest of his career, glues this defense together and does some, it can move all over the field, especially if you could build around him and around that. Would be actually really nice with, maybe grabbing two free agent corners or trading for one or whatnot and, getting Byron Jones in the mix. And then coming to the other safety spot, you could, draft McKinney at 21 if that's possible. Like you said, could bring back Rodney McLeod if that's possible. I don't know if he, McLeod has any suitors, but he's 30 years old. I don't know if the Eagles are going to just say we have really no chance but to bring one of these guys back, or they bring Malcolm and they draft somebody, or they don't bring Malcolm, bring Rodney back, and I don't know. I feel like there is some type of work in the making with the whole Malcolm Jenkins. What's going on with him. So I mean, this is just something we're gonna have to see. But I mean, as of right now, as I'm looking at it, we have two holes at safety, and that's not good. But obviously, I think we talked about this. We pretty much have thought like there is a plan. I mean, they're not gonna go and be like, oh well, we got two holes at safety now, and there's nothing we could do. I mean, obviously there is a plan in the making, so that's with that.
Okay, so we're gonna move on now, and I also want you guys to chime in on this. I've been thinking about certain players that are on the team. Who is gonna be that player come next season that takes the next step? And I'm talking about guys that really aren't not necessarily bad players. Actually, guys that are good players, but a guy that do you see any guys that someone who's a decent player that could take that step from going from being just a decent player to being a good to very good player? Is there a player that you think is good, such as Dallas Goddard, who shined when Ertz was hurt? Is he going to take like a huge leap into being a star in the league? Is Avonte Maddox going to emerge? I think Avonte Maddox is a guy I think is going to emerge next year, especially if you have Byron Jones on the other side. Because it's like I said, I think Maddox can be a number 2 corner. I don't think he can be a number 1. But if he's a number 2, I think he can really get it done. I think he can, and I think he will. So I think Goddard is one who's going to take a huge step. I think Maddox is one who's going to take a huge step. And the jury is out pretty much on everyone else. So, especially J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. That pick does not look good. But, if he studies the playbook and works on his game with the new receiver coach, can he actually produce a little bit? Even if he produced a little bit, that would be enough, especially if we get one of the top 3 guys in the draft and sign another free agent, and God willing, Deshaun Jackson stays healthy. Just a little production from him, and we'd be set up.
Yeah, no, I'm already seeing in the chat because this is the name I was thinking of before, and that was T.J. Edwards at linebacker. I think that guy really needs to step up, because he came into the game. He came into a few games this year when we were down to nothing. Only had Nathan Gary that was dealing with an injury this past year as well. Undrafted linebacker from Wisconsin a couple years ago. And, I think, hopefully, and Doug has already talked about this, that he's hoping that TJ Edwards can make a huge step up as well. So I'm hoping for that. Who I would really like to step up, I think that could be a lot better. But the problem is that he's never going to hit the field. It's going to be Greg Ward. We've seen him with guys off the street. We've seen him with the worst, because guys haven't really had their chance. So Greg Ward, if I would actually see him in the slot with our starters, it would be a pretty cool thing to see what he does with the starters. I like Greg Ward a lot, and I think he can actually be better. He has one more year left on his contract, so I just know that they're not going to put him on the field. I mean, I think he's going to make the roster as a backup. I honestly don't even know. I mean, is he going to be JJ, or is JJ going to be the? He's hoping that JJ makes a huge step up, but we're going to bring more running. We're going to be bring more wide receivers into the building, so it's going to put a lot more pressure on. JJ Arcega-Whiteside, because I know Howie wants, thinks he's gonna make a huge step, from this year. So we're just gonna have to see. But if I would have to pick, it would be T.J. Edwards. It'd be Greg Ward.
Got it. So do you think that the Eagles are gonna? Who do you think is gonna be brought in to compete for the slot position? Because obviously, whatever big move we make, it, whether it's in the draft or a trade, that's probably going to be someone who's an outside wide receiver. And like I said, Lord willing, that Deshaun Jackson is able to stay healthy. Is that's pretty much going to be your outside guys. And then the slot competition, Greg Ward, is Whiteside going to be? Is he going to be the slot guy, or are they going to bring in another guy to be the slot guy? We know Nelson Aguilar is not going to be the slot guy anymore. So it's going to be interesting to see. That's a competition that I'm interested in. Two competitions that I'm probably interested in is that slot receiver spot. Also, the defensive end rotation, Derek Barnett and Jannard Avery. Those guys are going to be going at it, and Avery just might push Barnett out the door if he's able to have a strong training camp.
Yeah, I mean, they could go sign like maybe Demarcus Robinson, like, which we already know they have interest in Demarcus Robinson from the Chiefs. A guy that really was more of a backup receiver more than a starter. He's got really good reliable hands, but other than that, I mean, his speed doesn't really impress me too much. I don't know why they're that interested in him, but it's just one of those things where we need to see like who they sign wide receiver wise in free agency, or if it's via trade at this point. So
when it comes, another name I would flirt with, with the slot receiver, that's Randall Cobb. I think Randall Cobb would be a really good slot receiver. A lot of people have spoken about the Eagles signing Amari Cooper, but what if the Eagles sign the other Dallas Cowboys wide receiver? Cobb wants like $7 million a year, so if you got him 2 years, $14 million, I would take it. And Cobb's he's not very young anymore, but he also has injury problems, so that's really something that people will be kind of concerned about it. But I think he can play, and I think he can play really well. Had good years with the Packers, and actually made some good plays for Dallas. So I think that's not a name that's been speculated at all, but maybe that's also an option there.
Yeah, I think one position we're really looking very bad right now is probably pretty damn bad. Is depth at offensive line. I think we're looking really, really bad right now. I mean, as of right now, because there's really nobody. Big V's probably going to be playing somewhere else, probably going to be starting somewhere else. Good for him. He deserves it. He shouldn't be playing backup. I mean, the guy pretty much started after week 5, and 17, won a Super Bowl, and he's pretty much been trying to learn other, plus he knows other positions as well, like right guard, right tag. He's tried right tackle, so I mean, he knows a lot more than what he does know now. So he deserves a starting job. He does. Matt Pryor is not really a good player. Backup. I mean, he did good against the East. He did good in like maybe 2 games, but I mean, we're talking about the East here, guys. Jordan Mailata has been hurt every year. If you can get this guy, a guy that's 6'8", 350 pounds, if you can get him to stay healthy and learn the way of football a little bit better, you got a future right tackle, or whatever they want to put him. I mean, you never really know. I mean, you can have Andre Dillard and Jordan Mailata as the future left and right tackles of this team, and they'd be set up perfectly for that. But he just needs to stay healthy, and he has to. I think he's looked good in preseason. I think that he is. I mean, when they first put him in preseason his rookie year, I mean, he was just taking 4th, 5th string guys, and he was just throwing them around like rag dolls. But depth at offensive line is not good. It's not good right now, and hopefully, which I know they will, that some bodies will be brought in to be the backup guys, and we need to find a vital piece as like a swing tackle, a swing guard, because Brandon Brooks, between his anxiety, Jason Kelsey's future's always up in the air, and Isaac Seumalo, it would be nice to see maybe. Isaac Seumalo's a good player. I don't think he's a bad player. I just think his pass protection is shit. I think his run blocking is excellent. He runs over people, but I think he's just got to work on his pass blocking. So offensive line depth-wise ain't looking too good, because losing Lane Johnson and Brandon Brooks for that wild card game, you lose both of those guys, you can't replace it. I think Vaitai and Pryor were playing on the right side, and they played horrible. I mean, horrible that game. But it is what it is. So that's one thing you have to look at with that.
Yeah, I agree. We need to look at that. I think probably some point in the draft, third or fourth round, they'll probably look at adding another center to
Mm-hmm.
back up, learn from Kelsey, and then Kelsey goes. I think what they'll probably do is try to find someone who kind of has a similar skill set to what Kelsey does, an athletic center who can really get downfield and make impact blocks like that, like he always does. So I think they'll take a look at that for sure. And you gotta get someone to back up Lane Johnson in case he goes down because the team's totally different with and without him. So got to do something there. So I agree with you there. I agree. That's kind of the offensive line is not really the sexy position, so people don't really talk about it that much. But it is true. And if you do lose starting caliber offensive line, if you lose all pro caliber offensive linemen like we do have, then you're going to be in some trouble. So got to take care of that.
If you guys have not, please, if you guys haven't, please subscribe to Philly Jim's YouTube channel, man. He's coming back into the game. He's back, ready, lock and loaded, ready to go, ready to do some Eagles content. We're going to do a lot more streams together. And if you have not, subscribe to this channel and subscribe to our channel, the Read and React Show. Please, we're going to be doing some things on there soon. We're just building up a little bit and doing some things. And if you guys have not, with this channel a few weeks ago, monetization, because of you guys, this channel has been monetized, super chats, donations are available as well, separate account. Going to be upgrading this channel more with any funds that come to this channel. It's for upgrade. So just want to say that, and very happy that, personally for myself, very happy that Philly Jim is back. It has not been the same without Philly Jim here. Okay, has not been the same at all.
Appreciate it, but yeah, I'm back and I'm ready to do some things and some stuff. It's just been pretty damn slow with the. There's not like anything happening right now, but by the time free agency happens, it's gonna be wild, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, the question I want to ask is, who do you think is literally the top free agent on the Eagles list right now, and who do you think is going to be signed pretty much day one immediately?
Byron Jones, without a doubt. I think they really need a corner. I think they know Byron Jones is an elite corner. I think they know he's probably not even a great corner. But I think what they do know is he's a good corner. And if you had a good corner, just adding a good corner would mean so much. You don't have to get an interception. I actually think Byron Jones probably will get his hands on some balls and get some interceptions next year, even though people are saying he can't really do that, and he hasn't done that. But we have a good pass rush. We have Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham, the guys who can get after the QB. So anytime you have that, you make the job easier for the guys in the secondary. You saw that with 2017. Patrick Robinson led the team in interception. He was a nickel defensive back for us, and he was constantly making plays on the ball. One of the most iconic plays in the history of the Eagles was that pick six in the NFC Championship game, and it was all due to pass rush. Chris Long gets there, he gets his hand on Case Keenum's arm. So you got pass rushers who can get it done. Makes life easier on the corners, and if you have and that's not even taking into account that if you have some good safeties back behind these guys for help, it's going to make it even more easy. So I really think Byron Jones is a guy that we want to get. Wide receiver wise, I definitely think they're gonna. It depends on what the Cowboys do. It depends on what the Cowboys do. And I'm not saying this is something I would like to see, but I know that if the Eagles have a chance to go after Cooper, they are going to do that. They are going to do that. That's just what this team does. They try to do addition by subtraction, which is take away talent from your divisional opponents And that's also why the Giants are also in on Byron Jones. They 1-2. They're going to be in the sweepstakes as well. So the Eagles, whether people want to say former Cowboys this, former Cowboys that, it doesn't change the fact that the Eagles are going to try to add talent to the roster and take away talent from the main threats in the division, which is the Cowboys. But personally, I would not be too thrilled if we, gave Amari big contract. Other than that, I think the Eagles are going to add a third defensive lineman to this team, especially if they're just probably going to replace Jernigan. I don't know who exactly they're going to go after. I think they may go after a linebacker. They may not go after the top linebacker prospect, but one of these lower profile kind of guys. The Browns released 2 linebackers today. The Raiders released a linebacker. There's a lot of veteran linebackers that have been getting cut, so I think the Eagles are gonna sign a veteran linebacker. They may take one third, fourth round in the draft, and I think they're gonna do something to address that position. But mainly, what I think the game plan is we're gonna attack the defense and free agency. And after free agency, we're gonna see where we're at. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to go heavy offense in the NFL draft. And I think we're going to go wide receiver round 1 and round 2. I think we're going to go offensive line and linebacker round 3 and go from there.
Do you think the Eagles are going to pair up Byron Jones with another corner? Do you think they'll actually make a trade for Slay?
No, because here's the deal with that. With Darius Slay, he basically wants the same contract as Byron Jones. Okay? Except for Darius Slay is 29. Byron Jones is 27. So he's 2 years older than Byron Jones. Byron Jones isn't going on 30 yet. So you can get a younger player who's probably going to maintain that level for a longer period of time than Darius Slay is. Also, you would have to give up stuff for Darius Slay. You wouldn't have to give up stuff for Byron Jones. You would only have to give up cap space. You would have to give up draft picks. And those draft picks are very valuable. So the Eagles do add a pair of corner with them. It's going to be another free agent, probably a decent veteran. Probably not a super high profile guy. Probably not Chris Harris. Mm-hmm. Probably not Logan Ryan or somebody like that. It's probably going to be a guy who's pretty good, but probably nothing special. And I don't really think they need to do that. I think the Eagles have guys like Maddox who are capable of being a number 2 corner. And it's like I keep saying, I think this new defensive backs coach is going to work some magic, and he's going to get the best out of these corners, and we're going to see him play at a level that we haven't seen him play before. So that's why I keep saying I think Avonte Maddox is going to make a bigger impact than he has so far. And he has made plays in the past, but I think he's really going to make some plays in 2020.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I've been thinking about the whole Slay deal. I understand they were trying to go after him at the trade deadline, this past year, but obviously they knew that Byron Jones is going to be a free agent as well. So I don't know if they had the chance to get Slay at the deadline, which they weren't giving up a first round pick for. That wasn't going to happen. But it really depends on what they give up for him. And I don't know at 30 years old if he's going to want a deal like that, or even anyone was going to give him even a close to a deal like that. Maybe a nice increase, but I don't think it's going to turn into like he's going to get crazy cornerback money, maybe into the top 10, but nothing spectacular. But that's just something, because the Eagles are always on the phones anyway, but corner-wise in free agency, it's not really strong with A.J. Bouye off the board now, which would have been a pretty easy trade with the Eagles, it would have been pretty easy. You'd still have another fourth round pick this year. So, but they didn't. They didn't touch that obviously because AJ Bouye picked going to the Denver Broncos anyway. But Chris Harris is 30 years old. I don't think he's even close to Darius Slay. Productive, but I don't think he's Darius Slay at all. So we're just gonna have to, find out if they. I mean, I don't know. I don't think they're gonna have Rasul Douglas on the field. I highly doubt it. I mean, I don't think they're just gonna sign one corner. I've pretty much been saying they could sign, two guys. I mean, one guy that's max contract, one guy that's mid tier. Logan Ryan's another guy, but he's more of a nickel corner anyway. He's not an outside corner. They can go to linebacker. They can go get Joe Schobert. They can, they get one of the and one of the guys that we talked about today from the Browns, as well. And he's you have a guy from the Raiders and Whitehead that has it's just been bad. He's good against the run. He's above average against the run. Really bad against the pass. And then Christian, that got released from the Browns, a very, very big vocal leader the past 6 years for the Browns. And unfortunately, injuries have just been the better side of him, unfortunately. And he got hurt with a pectoral injury this year, week 2, so he hasn't played in a while. So I honestly would say bring one of these guys in and, at least the guy from the Browns they could bring in and actually do a contract to where they're not going to lose anything. But the guy is not going to get anything spectacular because he's got a lot to prove. So why not bring one of these guys to Philly, at least the guy from the Browns, I would think, bring him to Philly and just see what he could do. And if he doesn't work out, you always can let him go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're spot on that. I think, but it's like I said, I think we're gonna just attack the defense as much as possible, and in free agency, and attack the offense as much as possible, in the draft. So, for example, I think a huge win for the Eagles would be, let's say you're able to trade up and you're able to get one of the three guys, Ruggs or Lamb or Judy. You're able to walk away with one of them in the first round, and you're able to do that without letting go of the second round pick that you do have. And then in the second round, you can get somebody. You can add Hamler, who has a lot of speed, or you could add Denzel Mims or someone in the second round. If you go walk away with Judy and Mims or Lamb and Mims, you're gonna be in a spectacular spot. You still have Deshaun Jackson. 2 tight ends are great. Running back is really good. So you're going to be set up as long as you stay healthy. So we don't even know how many dudes are going to get injured. I mean, it can't be any more than last year or the year before that, because the absolute worst case scenario has happened each of the last 3 years. One of the years resulted in a Super Bowl. The year after that resulted in a playoff win and almost a return to the NFC Championship. One catch away from that. But a certain somebody who likes to call people out was not able to catch the ball there. And the year after that, another playoff berth. So, I mean, it's really good, but the injuries have just been piling up too much. But if it's even a little less bad than it has been, I think the Eagles are going to really be able to compete this year.
Yeah, I mean the injuries have been a huge issue, and that's the point. Like 17 was a crazy year because every free agent that Howie Roseman signed produced. Patrick Robinson, LeGarrette Blount. You know what I mean? Like guys produced, and you know what I mean. That's where he hit on all these guys, but you can't be signing free agents or signing like these old veteran free agents to like cheap deals with like barely any years on their contract. You like because otherwise you're gonna be in the same spot every year. It's like 1 year deal, 1 year deal, 2 year deal, 1 year deal. I mean, it's every year he's gonna have to work his ass off even more. And I mean, the Eagles had 18 free agents this year. It's crazy, but there could be players. We already released Nigel Bradham already, so it's been pretty quiet on the front right now, so I haven't seen much of anything. Nothing on Jenkins, nothing on Alshon Jeffrey. They need to get like Howie Roseman said, he wants young core guys that are locked into 4 or 5 years, and that's what we need. I like that mindset, and I like how Howie is actually since the end of the year press conference after the loss in the wild card game. The wild card game for the something just happened. Sorry, guys. I don't know what the hell happened. Oops.
I was about to just chime in on what he said.
I'm here. I don't know what happened.
And basically, so now you're the one getting the booty goal, not me.
Okay, so shit. What was I saying?
But I just wanted to chime in for a second on what you said. It's like with all 1-year deals and stuff like that, you're right. And what I think has happened is Howie Roseman had that Super Bowl blueprint, and he was like, "Holy shit, this actually worked." So he tried to duplicate it for 2 more years,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't really work. And I think now he's like, "All right, we're gonna have to do something else to get back." And I think that's what we're gonna see this offseason. I think he learned his lesson. Basically, that's essentially what I'm trying to say. Is I think Howie figured out it worked then, but it's a year-to-year league. You gotta make the right adjustments if you want to continue to compete.
Yeah, no, that's Howie Roseman like really came to grips with himself and said he's got to learn how to stop being emotional with these players and bringing them back, or letting go of guys that've been here for too long. And you know what, they're gonna have to, he can honestly create a really good team if he has to let go. I mean, you could trade guys. Now I know there's I've always seen on Twitter like, oh, maybe the Eagles will trade Zach Ertz, or I've always seen stuff like that. I mean, which he definitely could. I mean, there's always a possibility with anything on this team. You know what I mean? But you could do a lot of different things, like with certain players. But I wouldn't rather have guys walk away. I'd rather have the Eagles try to get some compensation back and get more draft picks. The more draft picks, the better you're going to be for doing trades, and the better you're going to be for moving up in the draft if you have to. But Howie Roseman has seen his own emotions, how he's been treating this team and been going through the same since 17. He's been using the same offseason, signing veteran guys to, short deals that are going to pan out. So, it is what it is. But
I got something else to say about Howie Roseman, and this has been on my mind when it comes to him. I don't think Howie Roseman is a perfect GM by any means. I don't. But what I do think is he gets all the blame for these bad drafts. And what I want to bring up is what I don't think is being brought up, which is when it comes to these drafts and you took this player and you should have took that one. What about Joe Douglas? Like, Joe Douglas was in the room. He was in the building being that personnel guy or whatever his job was, the assistant to Howie Roseman. But he really doesn't get the blame there. Howie does because he's like the top guy. Yeah. But I actually think we're gonna see something different. I think Howie Roseman he's gonna nail the draft this year. I really see it happening, and now a lot of people are not gonna be using the same narratives about him. So I think he's snapped out of it, and I think he's going to get it done.
Yeah, I think things are definitely going to change, and I want them to change. Like, I'm sick of this cornerback position the way it is. I'm sick of this linebacker position being ignored. That's why when Nigel Brown got released, I was like, holy shit. I was like, they actually got rid of a linebacker, which is showing some that they say, hey, we need improvement for these positions. You know what I mean? Not bringing Jason Peters back, I was like, holy shit. I was honestly really surprised because even if they, like, look, I had no problem bringing Jason Peters back, but if I would bring him back, he would be behind Andre Dillard as a reserve tackle. That's what I wanted. But to jump in front of a guy that we drafted in the first round to redshirt for his second year, I mean, Andre Dillard started in 4 games last year, but I mean, still, I mean, you might as well trade Dillard then if you're just going to keep bringing these guys back and keep bringing them back and keep bringing them back. So I mean, like we both know that Eagles are still in they're still in contact with Jason Peters, so you never know what's going to happen down the road. But you better not start in front of Andre Dillard. So that's where it all comes down to.
And it's just like, what is the point of trade? Like, it's not just that you drafted him; it's that you drafted him and that you traded up for him. So in the end, what is the point of doing that if you don't have faith that he's going to be your guy at left tackle? There was no way when we drafted him, I was like, there's no way that he's riding the bench more than a year. And that year is coming on, and he's going to be the guy now. If you go up and get a guy, that means you really want this guy in your team. They did the same thing with Goddard, all right? And I think they're going to do the same thing this year. They have traded up the last 2 years in the draft for some impact guys. I think they're going to do it again. But, if you really didn't believe in Andre that much, then what's the point of moving up for him? If you're going to move up for him, then why did you not take Marquise Brown? Why did you not take a wide receiver? Why did you not take Josh Jacobs, who you're supposedly really liked last year?
Yep.
It just doesn't make any sense that they don't have faith in Dillard. I think they have a lot of faith in him, and I think he's going to have a good year. He started a few games last year, shut down some of the top guys. Khalil Mack could not do anything against him. He was doing really well, and then Peters came back, and, Jeff Stoutland was like, well, Peters has respect around here, and he's a legend, and blah, blah, blah. So that's the reason why he's, taking his job back. So that is what it is, but he's no longer here anymore. So, and I don't think he is coming back, even though they said they're contacting him. I think they're just doing that out of respect because Dillard is one of the best players that's ever played for the Eagles, and that trade that they did make for him is probably the best trade that this team has ever made. And it panned out really, really well. He's a future Hall of Famer, but all good things come to an end. And the end of the Jason Peters era is over, and the beginning of Andre Dillard's era has arrived. And that is pretty much it.
Yeah, and surprisingly so. I was, because I know Jeffrey Lurie does step in. I thought maybe keeping Peters was like a Jeffrey Lurie type move to step in and be like, hey, I think we should bring him back. But I'm glad that, that kind of cleared up and we were good with all that. So, no problems with that at all. So,
Right.
I think, honestly, this compared to other teams, this team is, we got holes. I mean, we have holes, but at this point, they need to be smart with the money that they have, and we need to see what they do between free agency and the draft. And I just want to kind of see, after at least 2 to 3 weeks of free agency, I want to see the full, I guess, roster of what we have going to the draft and kind of going from there to see, what we think is actually going to happen. Because if I don't even see a receiver getting signed, or Jeffrey, I mean, I'm going to probably talk about this every damn time and still say that Jeffrey's staying. But, I mean, I don't
think he's staying, dude.
I hope not.
I mean, I definitely think they want him out of the building. And I definitely think they can't risk having him in the building anymore after the way things have transpired for 2 years now with anonymous quotes and everything. That's just something you don't want in your locker room. A lot of players in Seattle had not the same issues. There wasn't anonymous sources with the Seahawks, but if you go back a few years back, there's a lot of players on the defense who thought the team was putting Russell Wilson on a pedestal. They were putting him on a pedestal because he's your franchise quarterback. He's your guy. going to do whatever you can for your guy. You're going to make your guy the number one priority. The Eagles are going to make Carson Wentz the number one priority. And that means putting talent around him, and that also means getting rid of guys that have a problem with him. And Alshon Jeffrey is a guy that definitely has a problem with him. And if you got problems with the quarterback, then you're just not going to be on this team. And I think that's the way it's going to be. And I think that's the way that it is going to be. That's pretty much that. I don't see Jeffrey coming back. Even if the Eagles have to eat a significant cap hit, I think they'll do it just because they want to send a message to the team that Wentz is the guy. And if you got a problem with it, you're going to be out too.
Yeah. And Howie needs to surround him with weapons. I mean, we need, because I'm not really.
He really hasn't had weapons in his career. I mean, even in 2017, when he had his best season, when he almost won the league MVP, yes, Alshon Jeffrey was a good receiver, but Carson Wentz has never had that one dude that will make plays for him. He's had Ertz that he can rely on as a security blanket, but he's never had a guy that he can just throw the ball to him and they're going to make something happen. It just hasn't been that way. His rookie year, it was a horrible situation to come in as a rookie quarterback. Last year really seemed like the best situation, but we did not see Alshon Jeffrey and Nelson Aguilar taking enormous steps back in their play. It's not just about the source stuff with Jeffrey; it's about his play. The guy honestly was terrible last year, and he was injured last year. So at the end of the day, you have to upgrade that position at all costs. And for once in his career, get him a guy who has elite skills at that position, via trade or via draft. You got to get one of the top 3 guys in the draft, or you got to get a stud in a trade. And it really shouldn't matter how you get it. Just get it. And that's the bottom line with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, with the speed that we have on offense right now, I mean, other than I'm not even thinking Deshaun Jackson right now, because they need more options. They need someone lined up behind Deshaun Jackson just in case. You know what I mean? They really need to go get some guys. Do I think Demarcus Robinson is an answer in the slot? Probably not. But Robbie Anderson looks like he's going to be. There was more news that came out today about Robbie Anderson, and he had some quotes to say today that he can't wait. He loves the Jets, and he wants to, and he's going to resign. He was on NFL Network or something this morning. So there's a really huge chance, over 50% chance, he's definitely going to be going back to New York. I don't know why, but hey, it is what it is. Got 30 people in here right now. If you guys have not, please subscribe to the Read and React show. This is our show, but I know we're streaming from my channel, but please subscribe to the Read and React show. We're going to be doing some stuff on there soon. Just want to kind of build it up a little bit. And if you guys have not subscribed to this channel and Philly Jim's YouTube channel covering Eagles, pretty much doing this. We pretty much do the same thing and do some different things. So right down below on Twitter, on Twitter as well. Go ahead and do that. This channel has actually been moderated the past few weeks because of you guys, and super chats, donations are enabled. Any funds that come to this channel are going to a separate account and will be used to upgrade. I'll be making videos on those upgrades if I buy products or whatnot. So that is available too. As of right now, so please, support us. We all know you guys support, and we know the dedication that we do have on both of our channels and what everyone likes to do. So, really do appreciate you guys just being with us. For the amount of time we've been on here. So, it is what it is, guys. Let's see here. Oh, something happened to Jimmy boy. Is it me? No, it was him. It was him. All right. Well, I'll wait till he comes back. If he does. You guys are having one hell of a conversation, man. I've been reading this all stream. Jesus. It's like the moderator. It's the moderator stream, dude.
Yo, sorry about that.
It's alright.
But yeah, man. I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah.
But thank you guys again for tuning in. I had a really good time doing the React show again. So thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for chiming in and everything. And I will see you guys next time. This is your host, Most Philly Jim. And I'm signing off.
Peace out, guys. See you guys later.
Perfect.